And now we can head back to cover Vladimir Putin's visit to India, for which we're joined by Subir Sinha, Director of the SOAS South Asia Institute and Reader in Development Studies. Thanks for speaking to France 24. So, Narendra Modi has just said that the world needs peace, but that relations with Russia should reach new heights. Does this really mean a solution for peace in Ukraine?
No, in short, because there was a time, I would say about a year or so ago, that Mr. Modi had offered himself as a mediator, and I think he had thought his relations with Trump and with Putin personally would somehow be useful in trying to solve this problem. But I don't really see, after having so openly embraced Putin, and this is Putin's first visit to India after the attack on Ukraine, and having made very public show of defiance to other important parties such as the US and the Europeans, what sort of role he is going to be able to play in that.
So what is the difference between this visit now and the annual summits that still have been going on since the war?
It's actually very much an optical scenario in terms of the fact that Modi, I think, feels isolated internationally. Just last week, there was a very strong letter written by three European nations condemning him for his plans to receive Putin. Obviously, Trump has spared no chance to humiliate him time and again with statements which have not gone down well with Mr. Modi or with the Indian media or with Mr. Modi's supporters. Having said that, and as you say, these are annual meetings, there are 3 or 4 things which are significant about it. India has a massive trade deficit of $64 billion with the US, with the Russians. The Indian economy on the surface appears to be doing well, but it has major problems with respect to a shrinking export market in many respects, and that has knock-on effects on things like employment. So if the trade talks basically go ahead, then that obviously has a degree of significance. If you also sort of take a look at, the talk about the military angle, India is obviously a massive market for military hardware from around the world, and further talks on jets, fighter jets, missiles, all of those things is something that would go down well with Putin. It sort of allows Putin to say, listen, we are basically not as isolated as the West would like us to do. And it will allow Modi to posture around the question of sovereign autonomy and being able to have a foreign policy now, independent of the relation with the US. Because remember, until fairly recently, the entire cornerstone of Indian foreign policy under Modi was to have good relations with not just the US, but personally with the American president. So I think it sort of further underlines the personalization of international relations under Modi. And as you can see, some of the more cliched elements of the state visit are very much on display.
Interesting point there. With these US sanctions, though, on Russia and these tariffs which have been increased on India, Modi is surely running a risk here of, susciting the ire of Donald Trump, who we know has a short temper at some points.
Definitely running a risk, but I think it's a calculated risk in the sense that despite the tariffs, Indian exports overall have not necessarily declined. If you look at Indian mobile telephones and so on, they still are selling quite a lot of those things, to the US. The tariffs have. I think that the defiance is a very important element here, in the sense that Modi's entire domestic political image rests on the acceptance of the story about him being a very strong leader who sets global narratives. And the fact that he has been able to defy Trump for as long as he has, it's going to go down well, paradoxically, even though it might have bad economic, outcomes in the medium run. I don't think that the Indians feel that the Trump tariffs by themselves are going to harm the Indian economy, because if you take a look at exports to the to Europe, France particularly, trade relations with the UK. Countries in Europe, despite the slap on the wrist once in a while, seem fairly keen to entertain Mr. Modi and to pursue trade deals with India. There is no chance, I don't think, that France would, for example, stop trying to hawk its military hardware to the Indians. And of course, as far as Keir Starmer
Right,
here is
I'm
concerned in the
afraid
UK.
I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have to interrupt you there,
Yeah.
Dr. Subir Sinha. But thank you so much for all of your insights here on France 24.